Hello, everybody. Welcome to Wellness Wednesday Inspiration. My name is Fernanda Torres. I'm here with Dr. Linda Marquez, and we have a guest today. I'm so excited to talk to Travone Edwards today. And I will tell you a little bit about Travone in just a few minutes. Dr. Linda, how are you doing?
Great. Happy Wednesday. Our favorite time of the, I always say favorite time of the week. But how's your week been going?
It's been going great. You won't believe how busy I've been, but it's great. I wake up at 4 a.m, so I have enough time to do everything that I need to do every single day. And I love it. I love it.
That's awesome. Well, kind of to catch up with you a little bit. I know one of the big news is you got tickets. Well, you already got your tickets to go see Dr. Joe in London, but he opened up registration and I missed it. But then did you just find out that London is going on lockdown for 6 months? I don't know if you heard that.
I have not. Thank you for sharing that with me.
Yes, I just found that out. There's a fellow on London Real that is very, they censor him a lot. He has a lot of great guests on his show, but he was a little irate about the whole situation. And the trend, the expected trend, hopefully not, is that it's going to be a global thing. So not too happy about that. So we just have to put out, I said, the good intentions that things change and do our best every day. So I'm excited. Wow. You got tickets for both. So
I know.
Somehow, some way, I'm going to be there. I don't know how it's going to happen, but I'm going to make it. I'm going to make it happen. Yeah, it will. So
it will happen.
You've been doing your meditation. I've been doing my meditation in the morning, and honestly, just been feeling so much calmer and just more relaxed. I think our guest today is really in the same mindset as us, is getting into that, working from the inside out, really to create a healthy lifestyle and mind, body, and spirit. So excited to have him on.
So excited too. And Travone and I met back at the beginning of the year. We went to a seminar together. And we kept in contact since then. We took another course together and we've been keeping in contact. And I see his social media. For anybody interested, I'm going to drop the link for his social media in the comments. And he's doing so many things that are amazing and resonate with me in terms of nutrition, in terms of physical activity, in terms of contributing to the community, giving back, and mindset and so many things. So I was so excited to just reach out to him and say, hey, do you mind coming on the show and just sharing some gems with us? And for everybody listening, Travone is an IFBB professional athlete. So if you don't know what that is, I think, and he can give some testament to it, but I think it's like the highest level you can reach in fitness. And he reached that level, so he's amazing. You'll meet him soon. He also is a 3 times men's physique overall champion. He's a high performance specialist. He's a kinesiologist. But what I like the most is that he uses his training along with nutrition, but also mindset. So everything he does, he involves mindset because he understands that everything begins in the mind. So super excited to have him. And without further ado, let's bring on Travone Edwards. Travone, how are you?
Hello, everyone. I am well. Thank you.
Welcome.
We're so happy to have you today. How is your day going, Travone?
Oh, it's been fantabulous on this. I call it Wonderful Wednesday. WINS Day, Wednesday. So yes, we're winning.
I love it. So, Travone, let's jump into the topic for today is creating a fitness and eating template for your body type. So before we talk about eating templates and everything, can you give us a little bit of information about overall physiological benefits of exercise? I know there's different types of exercise as well. So can you tell us a little bit about that, please?
Yes, I would definitely love to share that. Yes, fitness has definitely been my passion. Once I really understand the power that it has and how it can contribute and empower our life and whatever we're up to. because I've learned, like, for whatever we're up to in life, we must be fit for that, right? So if we're entrepreneurs, we want to create six-figure companies, we must be fit for that. I mean, we must have the energy, the mindset, the fortitude, the endurance for that. And so the physical fitness space help us harness and sharpen those tools and skills for that. So it gives us a literal physical practice and playground for that. So fitness impacts every area of our life. Being that, whether we're a parent, it's important that we're able to keep up with our children, have the energy to be present for that, even after working long days. Also, having a fit and toned body, which has more energy. You have the metabolism, and you have the fortitude it takes to stay in this marathon of life, right? Sometimes, like a lot of us were fit during high school when we were young, but we didn't keep that practice up. And now we're dealing with a lot of health challenges in our 40s, 50s, and 60s. So we can just maintain this by having a lifestyle of fitness, because it creates workability for what we're up to in life. So a lot of the benefits are just, number one, your physiology. Everything is physiology. And so when we're in a low mood and we can start moving our body and shifting our physiology, our energy goes up, our thoughts go up, the things we think about go up. And so we just literally feel better. And also, I tell everyone, we got to remember our body's a circulatory system. It's not a placid lake or a stagnant source of energy matter. So it's important that we circulate this energy through moving our body. And if you notice, when we sit down too long or don't move, things don't usually go too well. Our thoughts are not usually too well. And so that's why I really encourage it, because it empowers us in being at our best.
That's awesome. I love that, because fitness has always, I know for myself, and probably even for you, Fernanda, you're up at, like you said, you get up at 4 a.m, you're out riding your bike, and you do your meditation and go get your workout in. And the same thing, like, fitness has been part of my lifestyle for many, many years. I'm going to date myself back to Jack LaLanne, saying he was my mentor. You know who that is, Travone. I mean, he was the epitome of just health and fitness, mind, and so forth. Now, I know with a lot of trainers, and I think the mindset is so important, but also the type of exercise that they do. So how do you work with your clients? Because there's so many different types of exercises. People do CrossFit. Now there's functional training. There's different types of workouts. Like, I've been the person that I go to the gym, I have a routine, I change it around. But now I started something a little bit different, which is kind of, I call it a combat training, because it's a combination of kind of like CrossFit, but you're using battle ropes, you're using the punching bag, you're doing kicks, you're doing push-ups. I mean, it's very different. So can you kind of explain, because we get so stuck in, I'm going to go to the gym, I get on the treadmill, and that's a workout for people. That's like an hour. And you would probably say, no, that's not a workout. So can you kind of, share a little bit of, what you see that works, and also kind of the different age groups, like you were saying, because what I could do in my 20s, I'm turned double nickels last couple of weeks ago. I don't train that much as hard anymore. I used to run marathons, and now it's like, all right, I still make that commitment, but they're just short and intense. So I would love to hear that.
Yes. And yes, congratulations for you. That's amazing. I love that. So, so first off, when it comes to the whole, I say formula, for what I created, what I would say is wellness. And I like to make this clear with everyone, is what I discovered is 20% fitness, 80% nutrition, how you feel in your body. Mm-hmm. Are you putting foods that's going to give it energy? Or are you putting foods that's going to create inflammation? Right? And last one, right? And the last one is, so it's 20% fitness, 80% nutrition, and 100% mindset, mm-hmm. right? So, because that is the biggest component of it
Wow.
all.
Can you say that again, Travone?
Yes, 20% fitness, 80% nutrition, 100% mindset.
I love that.
So all of my clients have gotten great results. However, their greatest result has been in their mindset, right? Which is where the transformation happens, right? So because we have a way that it occurs to us mentally, it can occur as laborism or a burden, or it can occur as an opportunity to empower myself, or to create a relationship with my body, or to exude more energy, because it's important that we look and feel our best, right? But how are we creating that? Through mindset. So the next thing, yes, like we'll share about is with fitness, the first thing for that I've discovered is the first level of priority is functionality, right? And so are we engaged in activities that's going to improve our functionality, like our mobility, our flexibility? Very, very important. In the bodybuilding community, I've seen there's a huge missing in that. That's why a lot of have become bigger and lost their range of motion and become more morbid. No, but we need functionality, really important. Second is like stability, creating a stabilizer so you have balance, right? Very important, especially as we age. We need to keep that balance up. Many lose that source of balance, which makes them more susceptible to fall and injuries, right? And so the third part is getting clear on what your intention, because we must be intentional with everything we do. Every movement must be intentional for a desired outcome. So do we want energy? Do we want more mobility? Do we want more stamina? Do we want more strength? Then we look at which activities or exercise will support that, right? And so then that allows the template to start to create a workout design. And so just to speak on some things you speak about. So like HIIT training, high intensity interval training, very good for stamina, metabolism, calorie burning. However, what I've seen is there's been more obsession with keeping up with the movement versus making sure you're doing the movement properly, right? And so that way you want to make sure you're getting full range of motion. That way you're getting a greater result versus compromising the movement, which makes you more susceptible to injury and lower results. And so then also we're doing things like with resistance training that supports with strengthening the body and getting more muscle growth and more muscle tone. And so, I say it's good to have a variety, mix these things up sometimes, because the brain likes variety. We need that as human beings. And also being intentional with the variety, so you're getting a little bit of this and a little bit of that, a little bit of what you need, a little bit of what you want. So that way it keeps it fun and exciting.
Wow.
Awesome.
It makes sense. You have to have an intention. You have to know what you want to get out of the workout. And then, of course, the workout will be created for that specific desire.
Yes. And so the ultimate marriage happens, though, when you're eating to support what you're up to. So then you're eating these foods intentionally. You're going to see how amazing the body is, how your body just start to sculpt and you start to see symmetry and things like that. So you're eating foods that support your muscle growth. You're eating things that support energy. And those things are a lot going to come from a lot of your alkaline-based foods, your plant-based foods, and moving away from the oh so good, so tasty, flour-based foods like the pastries and the donuts and the cake. And those things taste good, no doubt. However, do they support what we're up to? That's important. So sometimes we work out, but then we undo the workout and result by eating foods that don't support that. So it creates stagnation and seeing progress, and also creates frustration, which will disempower what we're up to. So that's why that marriage is very important.
That's awesome. And 80% is nutrition. So you mentioned the inflammatory foods.
Yes.
And we've been talking in past episodes, we've been discussing inflammation and how certain diets, inflammatory diet or foods, cause inflammation in the body. And then, of course, disease starts to set in, these different diseases because of what we're eating, right? Yes. So can you tell us a little bit more about those type of foods, maybe how to eat and how not to eat?
Got it. Sure. I love this. Yeah. So I'm going to go back to the point first again. So it's important to eat for what we're up to, right, in life, because we got to understand, right? Energy is important, vitality, having a healthy temple, right, which is low in body fat. So often we get obsessed with the number on the scale. The most important is to understand what that is composed of. What is the composition of the body? You can be 150 pounds and a 30% body fat, or you could be 150 pounds and 15% body fat. Those are completely different body structures, right? So when we look at inflammatory foods, we're looking at our breads, we're looking at our starches like pasta, we're looking at like potatoes, we're looking at a lot of our chips and cookies, looking at soda, sugary foods. And so society has made those things very affordable, very
Extremely affordable.
appetizing. And the thing is about those, I like to share with my clients, those things have hooks in them. So they create, like the more you consume, the more you desire more of that. Because they create these fleeting experiences where we have a spike in blood sugar, we feel here, then we crash, then your mind says, go get more of that. However, that creates a vicious loop of us usually gaining weight or yo-yoing our metabolism, and our moods are kind of just going up and down. So we want to slowly start to remove those things and replace those maybe sugary things with a healthier version, with maybe some fruit salads or fruit smoothies. Now you're getting a sweet fix. However, you're getting in a way that supports you. You're looking at things like your carbs. You want to go to more alkaline sources with things like the quinoa, the sweet potato, the wild rice, the chickpeas, right? These are non-inflammatory foods. However, they have protein, they have carbs, and they're alkaline. So these are very highly charged, energetic foods. However, they're not the most marketed. They're not the ones you can usually get to the drive-through. So,
Right.
and then we want to also incorporate our greens because they're electric, they're alkaline. These are foods that are high in biophotons, which is sunlight energy. So they charge the body. And so when we can start to fuel our body with this, then we start to fuel our body with high energetic foods, which you're going to create a charge, and people are going to see it. They're going to see this light. They're going to feel this light. Versus if you've seen things like Sick, Fat, and Nearly Dead, those people had high starch diets, highly carb diets, high inflammation diets. And so inflammation is the source of disease. All the things like arthritis and bronchitis is inflammation of an area. Inflammation. So we get to look at what is the source of the inflammation. And then we say, oh, okay, so let's try removing those things from your space and watch what happens.
Right. And it sounds like an addiction. I mean, and it is, right? It's an addiction to that sugar spike. You eat something, you get that spike, and then your brain asks for more because once the level of sugar starts depleting. So we're basically addicted to the same crap that we keep eating over and over and over and over again. And like you said, it's available everywhere. No matter where you go, you can find any of those foods, and they're cheaper, they're more accessible, easier to find anywhere. So it's kind of like the most go-to type of foods, but I feel like people don't know, and they don't see the connection between they know that you eat, and if you eat a lot, you may gain weight or you may develop certain diseases. But I think a lot of people are missing that connection, that what you're eating is actually causing this inflammation in your body, and then a lot of these conditions, even bronchitis like you mentioned, develop because they are inflammatory conditions.
Yes. You made some really great points. And the thing is, what gets to be understood, because we don't see what is going on inside, the damage is causing. So those things create a lot of mucus in the body, right? Those things called mucus from the collection of the starches. And so usually there's some type of inflammation of mucus, like in the bronchitis and things like that. And so when we go back to eating more whole foods, nutrient-dense foods, you will feel a source of what's a great word? You feel satiated, right? You'll feel full and nourished, and you won't go reaching for the chips and the snacks, because those are fleeting. If you notice, you can eat a bag of chips just like that, and you're like, what happened? You like literally mold through the bag. So you see, and it's fleeting because they're void of nutrients. So when we consume nutrient-dense foods, then we give our body what it needs, which will start to have us release the need to want to go reach for these other things, because those things are very fleeting, but more begets more. And that's why I encourage everyone, when you eat these plant-based foods, these greens, they cleanse the body, they cleanse the cell, they detox the body. And so that's why I encourage everyone to detox. Detox because you give your body a chance to reset from clear, and it's not at the effect of cravings. And we start to in-house cleaning. Now you can easily choose the veggies over the chips when you go to the table at a party. You can go, okay, carrots and dip, or broccoli and dip, or the easy cookies. When you're clear, you can say, oh no, that's going to serve me. That sounds good right now. But when you're inoculated with the sugar, you're going to say, no, I want that. Give me that now. Right? And if you noticed, when you consume those things, and the thing about the starches and the inflammatory foods, they cause mental cloudiness. You're not as sharp. You're not as energized. And so this can be in a way of us being productive in our work, even being connected in our relationships. If you're not there, then you can't be there. Right? So those things support us in living in the now. And that's the deeper part. It supports us in being in the now.
Yeah. Yes. Are you familiar with something called the gluteomorphin withdrawals?
No, I have not.
Okay. So kind of alluding to what you were talking about, when people have brain fog, as soon as you take them off of the gluten, things start to change, because the gluten is, that protein that most people are consuming, the wheat and all this crap food you were talking about. Their brain gets so addicted to it, just like cocaine, from that dopamine response. So what happens is and I've seen this with patients, that they have withdrawals.
Yes.
So they're going through these withdrawals and they think they're going crazy. I'm like, don't worry, it'll go away, it'll pass. And once it passes, I said, your brain will be so sharp, and seriously, you feel smarter than everybody else.
Yes.
It's just like your brain now is just, it's just wired beautifully for the food that was put on this earth, it should be in its most purest state.
Yes.
So how is your approach when you have, because I'm sure you have all types of clients from, they all have different body types. Everyone kind of carries their weight a little bit differently. I know traditionally a lot of trainers will look at, and I would love to hear your response. They're different body types. You have your person that's, I go to the gym and I see a person that's just like, they're just super tiny. They have no muscle mass. They look very frail. Then you have the person that looks like, oh, that's the person that's been an athlete all their life. They kind of just got out of shape. And then you have another person that's just like, I always say it's kind of a thyroid body type, that they're just kind of full all over. What is your approach when you start exercise, putting them on a protocol program as far as like fitness and kind of, meal plan? Because everyone is a little bit different. Of course, those with the higher ability to burn fat, of course, you might push them a little bit more, that mesomorph. So I would love to hear that.
Yes, that is a great question. And over the years, I've been able to create and design and understand our approach to support that. So number one is getting clear on what the desired outcome is, what the goal is, right? Because we get to move from that space. We get to know, okay, which direction we need to go, how do we need to go, what can we do to support that? Because some people may come and they want to gain mass and strength, and some are trying to lose mass, right? So that's important to be clear about, very important. Right? Because it's not a cookie cutter, one size fits all type of deal. So once we get clear about that, then we look at what's going to support us in achieving that goal. And the thing is, that determines frequency and how much of that, right? Because muscle needs fuel, right? However, one thing that is consistent about that is once you start to eat clean, the body is going to only keep what serves it. So when you start to eat clean, you're going to start to release unhealthy mass, whether it's because there's a collection of subcutaneous fat, which is the fat between the skin and muscle, which is often created through high consumption of carbs and inflammatory foods. And so when we start to just eat clean first, that's just going to start to just clear out and purify. The body's going to detox that. It's going to release on that unhealthy fat. And then, so as everyone's going to be on this lean, clean, right, whole food program, their body is going to revitalize, period. And so that means your metabolism is going to boost. You're going to shed unhealthy fat. Next thing is looking at quantity, how much, because then we start to eat a little more intentional based on your macros to feel muscle gain or just to support fat loss. And so everyone's going to have a baseline, but then we're going to determine like if we're going to increase that from there or lower that. So one thing I like to share is that as you increase your muscle tone, your body burns more fat. And so that's a very key component. So that's why there are many who just go on mini diets of starvation or the caffeine diet or only just juice and lose muscle mass. They may be 136 pounds, but they may be 36% body fat, and they may lose muscle tone, right? Which can have us like a noodle effect, things like that. So
you're doing the opposite.
Yeah, doing the opposite. So then that's why it's important to get with a coach, someone who can support you, making sure you get the nourishment you need to create muscle tone, which is going to support you in burning more body fat.
Travone, a couple of questions that came to mind as you were talking. You mentioned detoxing. How often do you recommend detoxing? And then the second question that I had for you is in regards to exercise. When you are working with someone, do you recommend that they exercise fasting, not fasting, take a pre-workout or not take a pre-workout, or what's the deal with that?
Yes, and these are great questions. So I'll start in the order you asked. So the detoxing, it's important, I believe, that everyone is detoxing. Now, Surgeon General says 3 to 4 times a year. That's fine. I do it a little bit more often than that, right? So first, we need to understand that toxins, inflammation, all these things are the source of disease and sickness, right? Because when our body's filled with toxins, right, through accumulation of certain foods, alcohol, poisons, things we're getting from the environment, the chlorine through the water, the contaminated water sources, the lotions, the creams that smell so good that are very high in chemicals, right? And all these things, these makeups we're putting on, we can get over 100 different chemicals going into our skins, the parabens. And so you got to remember, the skin is our largest organ, right? So that means what goes on the skin is getting absorbed into the system. So the thing is, if we don't have a healthy curriculum to detox what's coming in, then our body accumulates these things, right? And we have a circulatory system, then that's, we're feeling or experiencing some type of itis in certain areas, these sinusitis, these bronchitis, this arthritis, right? Tendinitis. What's going on there, right? So the thing is, though, it's going by according to what goes into the body, right? So that's the source of our sickness, what goes on. And so I talk about a lot of these things, too, on my televelup.com. So the first is we got to remember, green foods are our natural detoxifiers. Plants, juices are natural detoxifiers. That's why you hear the words antioxidants, right? So they remove these things that causes stress and oxidation and toxins from the body. And so it's important to just have those as a regular practice in our daily foods. We should all be consuming some type of green juices, which is power packed, or fruit juices, and also having vegetables on our plate, which helps cleanse the body. Another amazing way is through some type of powerful herbal detox, where you're getting a concoction of detoxifying herbs which help cleanse the body from the inside out. And so that's usually through process of elimination, because it gets stagnant in our colon because we're not eating a lot of fiber-rich or nutrient-dense foods that removes it. So when we see an expanded belly, there's usually some type of stagnation there, right? Because there's a buildup of toxins, right? So we want to move that out of there. And lastly, through your workouts, it's both. Sometimes there's a good time to do it fasted, and sometimes they're not. But if you're doing things like weight training, you need glucose for that. For your body, you need glycogen from your glycogen stores to generate the power in resistance training. And that's important too. So I always just share, like, it's a client by client experience. And second thing is the pre-workouts, that can be a little, so it's important to be selective about that, because not all of them have things that are best for us. So however, you have things that have like B vitamins, things that have things like arginine, things like that, which open up the vessels for more blood flow. Then it allows your body to get more blood flow to your muscles, which can help you in your performance, help you in your energy output. And so you want to make sure it has those key things, which are amino acids and things like that. Now, caffeine, that's a case-by-case basis. I think clean sources like green tea extract are very good for your workout. Some of these other chemical concoctions, consult someone who's a professional about that. And yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Sure did. Thank you so much, Travone. What about the fasting states?
Yeah, so fasting is very powerful, as it allows your body first to cleanse. We also reach higher thought realms through fasting, because we got to remember, when we eat and consume, it siphons energy as well. It goes to your gut, and your gut has to work so hard to do that. So I want to share one thing about this really quick. So I did a 43-day juice fast, right? It started off as 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 43 days later. And so during this fasting, I made like quantum leaps in my consciousness, my coaching, my discoveries, my breakthroughs. It's remarkable. And it's all on God-made foods that we were designed to eat and consume. So they're going to support your expansion and elevation due to the nutrients and biophotons. So what I do want to share is my first meal I ate, I fell asleep within 30 minutes. Out. I said, what's that all about? Breakthrough, discovery. Oh, wow. Okay, got it. So what I want to share about that is, so there is a time to do that. However, it's important to make sure that you just have nutrients in your body first. So through juice or water or foods that are high, juices, waters that are high in electrolytes, spring water. And then secondly, with the fasting, it allows your body to tap into your fat stores for energy, which is very powerful in the ketogenic diet, which it has your body go to your stored fat for energy sources, because fat is an abundant source of energy. The body naturally wants to have a self-preservation. It wants to store, because you never know, because we can live off that alone for many days. Some of us have more than others. However, it does. So this allows you to tap into that stored energy, a stored fat for energy. So that could be very powerful when someone's trying to drop a lot of body fat to do fasted workouts, or even in a ketogenic diet, which has your body go to the fat source because it doesn't have carbs, the fleeting carbs. So it now has to go to the secondary source, which is fat. So the thing is, the ketogenics are very powerful diet approaches. However, it's just understanding that isn't sustainable, later.
That's I love how you're incorporating all that, because even working out in a fasted state, it's so different for everybody. And like you mentioned earlier, if you're someone that's going to go compete, like you've done competitions, and I can't even imagine the type of dieting you have to go through. That. It's kind of like, I've just done, I've done marathons years ago, and we would drop off like water bottles and goo at different locations the night before, hoping that some weirdo didn't take it from our place where we stashed it. But, with such an extreme and intense body transformation, when you go through that type of training that you do, it's just different for everybody. Because even like I've done a 40-day fast just with juice, and I same thing. It's just like I was losing too much weight. I didn't want to lose weight, but I was losing muscle. But the mind clarity was so amazing. That was one thing, like you said, it's like you just felt like the light bulb was turned on. I couldn't do that right now anymore, just because everybody, your microbiome changes. So when a diet that worked for you or eating template that worked for you maybe 5 years ago doesn't mean it's going to work for you right now. So with that being said, I'm kind of alluding to like this may happen again with the lockdown. I hope not. But I mean, a lot of people put on that COVID-20.
Yes.
Body change, even if their weight didn't change, their composition changed.
Yes.
So what are, hoping that doesn't happen, but if we end up visiting somewhere and we don't have access to a gym, what are like a couple things that, you would recommend, or how you coach your personal clients through that people can maybe do at home, and then maybe like one or two big things that they can do in the kitchen that's really going to move the needle towards staying fit and vibrant, and kind of just still passionate and excited about working out. So would love to hear your thoughts on that.
Yes. Wow. Yes. Yeah. Powerful.
A loaded question.
Yes. Love your question. So first off, I want to share about the COVID-19 because I've supported a lot of people in transforming that the weight gain during that period, and most of them had to social distance from the refrigerator, right? Right. So the thing is to look at that, right? Number one, we were put into a space that had no structure. We were at home a lot more than we tend to be. So first thing I employ to everyone and share with them is this acronym, or about HALT, right? Whenever you walk to the refrigerator, am I hungry, right? Am I truly hungry? And remember, water always keeps your hunger honest. So drink water, then see where you're at and revisit that. Or second, A, am I angry or am I upset? That's something that we do to neutralize emotions as we eat. Mm-hmm. So we got to get present that. That's the power of self-awareness, which is part of mindset. Second, are we lonely? Are we lonely or bored? And sometimes when we do, then we just go munch and crunch and just sit back on the couch, right? Oh, because we're seeking to fill a void, right? This is self-awareness. So we're seeking to fill a void. And sometimes that's the way we do to deal with those emotions. Or second, are we just tired? And so, and if we do, sometimes that comes with the night munching. And so when you start to run through this, am I hungry, angry, lonely, or tired, then you can see where you're truly at. Because as a society, we've practiced just eating more out of comfort, escapisms, and outings where it's not in true alignment with true hunger, right? And so we're kind of just eating, we're all over the place with this. And so sometimes that's going to be expressed in our physical being and our expression, right? And so when we tune into this, then we get present to like, okay, when we're eating and eating with intention. And so when this COVID thing happened, a lot of us didn't have these tools. We're just home and there's a refrigerator and we're feeling angst and we just like, gimme, right?
And we're hungry, we're angry, we're lonely, we're bored.
Tired. It can be angry or anxious, yes. And so anxiety was a big part of that, right? And so we're just getting present to what the feeling of the voids is and anxiety and things like that, which is escapism, which is a huge part of my coaching program. So when we look at that, so then first I would say like everyone, we want to detox first to just create a new template, right? A space to come from, because sometimes we're eating one way and it's hard to convert to a new program because we're dealing with, I want to work out, but I want to eat pizza. Well, we get to remove all of that, just detox, and now you can eat clean because you're not dealing with cravings first. All right, and then secondly, I shared everyone, I start my day every day to have the most vitality and energy. I start my day energizing and cleansing the body, right? So how do I start that? I start first with hydrating the body, right? You can do that with water, preferably room temperature. I like to share everyone always, yes, drink from that space. And you can have that water with lemon. You're cleansing and alkalizing the body. And second, I start with some form of nourishment or detox. So that's going to be a juice, a green juice, some type of fruit juice, because you're energizing the body and you're cleansing the body simultaneously. You're giving it all these biophotons, these nutrients, things to increase vitality, right? And then you can have your green tea, and if you just gotta have it, you can have your coffee, right? So, and then next thing, that's how I start my first half of the morning. And then secondly, then I start to move into high vibrational foods, which I start eating some type of, nice salad and some quinoa or some sweet potato and things like that. Now I'm getting nourishment to fuel, what I'm up to. And I come from that space. Then that supports me having mental sharpness, energy, vitality starting the day, so I can really get going with my morning with clarity and intention. And then I always share with everyone, if you can, I really encourage everyone to start their day with some type of movement and energy, right? You get that physiology going. It come around 8 o'clock. Most people just getting out of bed and you're like, hey, how's it going? Life is good. And you're like getting things done, right? So you want to start with this energy. You look at some of the top high performance coaches and millionaires of our time, they start the morning early, moving the body. It's important. So when we get this charge going, then we're able to really conquer the day powerfully. And so I like to share these things with everyone, and I like to share that with you too. This is some of the best way to start. And guess what? Your workout doesn't have to be long. 20 minutes can make a difference, more than you can ever imagine. The thing is just being consistent with that, 3 to 5 times a day. That alone with, I have some of my sites, just a quick 20-minute HIIT program, 20 minutes of 5-space walking, 20 minutes of, doing things like variety of jumping jacks and push-ups and squats, and doing a circuit of those things 3 or 4 or 5 times. You'd be amazing on how you feel. You'd be amazed. Like you'll just have that energy to go conquer the day.
So if a person is, so let's say we do go in lockdown, you're basically saying is, okay, it's how you're starting your morning. One, the hydration, an alkalining substance in the body, but also the exercise 4 to 5 days a week. It doesn't have to be something that's, if say we don't have access to the gym, it could be anything like even burpees or push-ups or sit-ups or butt burners or whatever.
Yes.
Rebounding, something as simple as that. And kind of getting that together that's just like could be a basic template for people to start with. But how about those that have difficulty with that? Do you have like a Facebook group or anything for accountability? Because that's so important. We have a great intention of doing all this, but if we're not accountable, and I know you have some coaching programs, so that's where you really I think shine to bring it out in people, because you can tell them and they can do it in their mind, but if they're not checking in with you, it's like when people work from home, they're sometimes less productive because the boss isn't like, did you get it done?
Right.
You have a deadline.
Right.
So, do you have a program or something like that? Especially,
yes.
Yes. Can we reach out to you and say, help me?
Yes. I have several online communities that support with that. And I have some WhatsApp groups offline, and I have some groups on Facebook. So this is very powerful stuff you're saying right here. Oh my goodness, thank you for this. Because many of us know we know what to do, but how come we don't do it? We know, eating an apple a day or walking around the block can help us lose weight, but why don't we do it? Right? So that's the power of really being connected in a community and having accountability, because I say 100% accountability, 100% results. Because guess what? It keeps you true for what you're up to, right? You don't let your old way of being stop you, those habits. It's like Dr. Joe, like breaking the habit of being yourself, right? So we get stuck in these loops of procrastination and being caught up in circumstances, right? Or conditions, or I have this to do. So I share everyone, you can have circumstances and conditions, however, don't let them have you. Right? They're always going to be there. Just who are you going to be in the midst of that? But when you get in a community that has accountability or inspiration and accountability, it pulls you forward. And then before you see it, before you know it, you can see you can be in action while having these things. And then when you're in action, then those things start to transform how they occur to you. Yeah.
So powerful. And you know what? Something else that I found that it helps for me, and you've said it over and over and over again, is setting that goal, setting that intention that what you want to get from whatever physical goal you have, right? Or health goal you have. And if you have that goal, it's easier to wake up and do the things that you need to do because you have that in your mind. You have that vision of what you want to accomplish. And so it becomes much easier than literally waking up every day and saying, I have to work out again and I'm not in the mood or whatever it is.
Right.
Because if we don't have that goal in our mind, that goal that we want to reach, it's easy to literally just give up and say, I'm going to skip it today, or I didn't sleep well last night, or I'm not in the mood, or whatever it is.
100%. 100%. So the thing is, what's great to know about this is that, you know, I share everyone, like in my community, it's important to create an empowering context, right? An empowering context, right? Because this creates the workability for a new result, right? Because working out occurs as an obligation or something strenuous. There's no power there. There's no workability. That context isn't empowering. But if you say, hey, I'm creating a possibility of being the best shape of my life. Hey, I'm like making sure, you know, every day and every way my life is getting better and better. You know, if you start to create these new things, they're like, hey, I'm creating a possibility of being the best shape of my life, you know, to have energy for what I'm up to. Then things start to shift. It occurs as an opportunity. Then it's like, oh, I get to cash in or pay for an opportunity tomorrow morning. Let me get my shoes together. Let me prepare.
That's
like making sure you got the juices ready or you got the fruits on the counter. Because remember, proper preparation prevents poor performance, right? Proper preparation provides powerful performance, right? Because the thing is, we have to understand that if it's to be, it's up to me, right? No one's going to do it for you. And that's another space to come from because society doesn't really set us up that way. But if you start to take on this power, then you have power to accomplish anything you want in your life because you're the source of it, right? And this is a very powerful space. And you say, oh, I can be the architect. I can take the action. Wait, so if it's to be, it's up to me. Oh, and you can, boom, transform it just like that. Literally.
Taking that ownership back. Getting our power back, right?
Mm-hmm.
Travone, it's been a pleasure. We went over by a lot, but it's been such a pleasure having you, and you're dropping so many gems and so much information. I'm gonna have to like literally go back and watch it again and again and again.
Yes.
Things that I can do better, things that I did not know that I found out today, and things that I know that I'm doing. And it's a good encouragement to know that you're doing what you can for yourself in the best way that you can. And just keep going because it's your health, it's your life, it's your body, and it's up to you.
Yeah. But bottom line, it's always going to be, as we always keep going back and almost every single show, that this is what holds us back the most. Nothing else. It's the commercials that we're playing in here and the conversations and when we speak them out. So they have to be empowering instead of disempowering. So thank you so much. And I'm sure your clients just love you because they probably feel all loved up when they're done with you and they're like,
yes. So before I forget, and thank you all, you are amazing, Fernanda, and so are you, Dr. Linda. Thank you so much for all you contributing. And what you're doing, you're creating a space for others to, you know, tune into and get this information and things that can help them in achieving what they want in life. So first I want to share, you can check me out at televelup.com. Travone Edwards is my Facebook page and my Instagram. And so I was going to share something like with everyone. Lastly is like, you can start the transformation of your mind if you can start every morning and listen to 15 minutes of personal development. Some people like Tony Robbins, Dr. Jim Rohn, you know, Dr. Joe Dispenza. And just start to look at that because you start to retune your mind, create a new conversation. Then secondly, start to journal. You get to purge out these concerns and negative thoughts and start to write a new future, right? Like literally on paper, because that becomes your reality, right? You put that out there. And secondly, lastly, focus on what you want, not what you don't want. Many clients say, oh, I want this, but I want that. I say, hey,
I know.
we're canceling out that energy. That doesn't support us. Let's focus on what we want and only that. Because remember, clarity is power. So take the time to get clear on what you want and focus on only that. And you'll be amazed to see how powerful you are on having that become your reality.
Oh my gosh, better way to end. You are a genius. I love you. You're amazing.
Yes.
Thank you so
All
much.
right.
I appreciate you
You're
being with
welcome.
us and sharing so much information. The audience was, so much information coming from the audience too. Questions, comments. I'm sure you're going to get a lot of context.
Thanks so much. It was great. Just great having this conversation. And gosh, man, if we ever got stranded on an island, just the three of us, oh my gosh, it would be a party. With all the truth bombs and just the mindset. So thanks so much for being on the show with us.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. We'll see you guys next week.
Next week.